Welcome to the hähnel MODUS 600 RT speedlight. In this video I'm going to speak about how to put the MODUS into its various different operating modes. How the MODUS 600 works is decided by two buttons, the mode button here on the left and the button on the right, which is we'll call the communications button, which determines if it's a master or a slave or how it communicates. So in the situation where the MODUS is sitting on the camera flash and is being used only as a local on-camera speedlight, then this button here on the left will decide its operating mode. It's powered up in ETTL mode. If I press the button once, I switch to manual mode. If I switch it again, I switch to multi-mode. Once more, I cycle back around to ETTL mode. In a different video, I'll go through some of the details about other controls that are available in these different modes, but for the moment, I'll just focus on the fact that when it's sitting on the camera as a local flash speedlight, this button will cycle through the three possible operating modes. On the right side, we have a button which will determine two things: whether the speedlight is a master or a slave, and secondly, how it communicates. Does it communicate using 2.4 GHz wireless, or does it communicate optically wireless? If I press once, then you can see the radio icon switch on the top left corner of the screen, and you can see the word master appear. So now you know that this MODUS, sitting on the camera hot shoe, but now it's a master unit intended to control the operation of other off-camera speedlights, and is going to do that using 2.4 GHz wireless. If I press it once more, I still have the wireless icon up, but now I'm a slave. So in this situation, my MODUS 600 RT is off camera. It's being controlled from a master. Its mode will be determined by the master. I'll come back to this screen again in a moment for more details. If I press the button once more, then I have now optical communication and I'm a master. Optical communication allows the master to communicate with other third-party speedlights which use optical, sometimes referred to as infrared, communication to speak to each other, and it allows compatibility with those flash guns. If I press the button again, I have optical to say that I'm being controlled using optical signals rather than 2.4 GHz wireless, and I'm a slave. And finally, if I press once more, then I cycle back around to the on-camera situation. If I go in once more to being a radio master, I can then use the mode button to cycle through. I can be group control, ETTL control, manual control, or multi-control. Bear in mind that when I set these on my master here, I'm actually communicating and setting the mode of my off-camera slaves as well. I'm going to speak just a little more now about this setup, where the MODUS is in 2.4 GHz wireless communication, and it's a slave. In this setup, there are two further controls available to you. Flash exposure compensation. Bear in mind that this is not available for the Nikon version because of the Nikon have a different control system. I can set the flash exposure compensation locally. And finally, I can assign my speedlight to a particular group. Off-camera speedlights can be assigned to different groups, and all I have to do is press the GR button here to cycle through the different options and set the particular speedlight to the group that I want it to. After this, its mode will be determined by its master, and its actual flash output level will be determined by its master as well. So that's an introduction to how to set the various modes on the speedlight. For on camera, we have ETTL, manual, and multi. We can then decide whether the speedlight is communicating via 2.4 GHz radio as a master or as a slave, and we can set it to communicate optically as a master or as a slave. In other videos, I'll go through in more detail about the different control options which are available for each of these settings, but for the moment, this gives you an indication of how flexible and versatile the MODUS 600 RT is in terms of on-camera operation and also in terms of being used as a master or as a slave. So for more details on how to get the best from your hähnel MODUS 600 RT, check out some of the other videos in this series.